Grace and peace to you. In my previous recorded video sermons, I'm aware that I have usually jumped right into the message without any personal acknowledgments. This morning, I want to say, first of all, how grateful I am for Melissa and Stephen Vance for the administrative and technical support that makes it possible for me to join you from Indiana in this hybrid space. And whether you are a long time, a recent, or I hope a soon-to-be friend, I offer warm and grateful greetings from Susan and me. To those of you in the digital diaspora, gathering, joining this service from places far and near, and to those of you in Presque Isle watching this recording. Bless, blessed, blessed, blessing. These are the kinds of keywords we'll have heard multiple times this morning. So may this sacred space we all share this day be holy and acceptable in God's sight. And may we all be blessed by this time together. Now, after the calling of the first disciples, and Dan Jackson reflected on that scene last week for us, Jesus teaching in the synagogues, curing diseases and healing the sick throughout Galilee was quickly attracting large crowds wherever he went. And in Matthew 5, we learned that on this particular day, when he saw the crowds gathering, Jesus decided to go up the mountain. Biblical scenes where one is ascending a mountain are often about withdrawal to a place without distractions for prayer, rest, and renewal, or discernment. So given this is early in Jesus' ministry, I find myself wondering if this time of teaching, as Matthew refers to it, was meant to be an orientation, a leadership retreat for those who were the committed, as we hear the disciples described in the message. It's a gathering which Jesus opens not with a prayer, but with a ritual acknowledgement of the crucial threshold they're at, as they prepare for a key crossing into a new way of being, which is not yet fully known to them. Now, crucial threshold and key crossing are terms the late Irish poet and priest John O'Donoghue has used to talk about blessings. O'Donoghue, in his collection of blessings, To Bless the Space Between Us, says we need such rituals, such acts of blessing, when we stand before crucial thresholds in our lives to protect, encourage, and guide us as we cross over into the unknown, he writes. And I think what we do when we surround or embrace others with words or acts of blessing is that we are indeed helping recognize, that is, acknowledge, celebrate, or maybe encourage is a better word, and negotiate whatever crossing is at hand. Now, Jesus is not technically blessing his followers in this moment, but I think he is acknowledging the lives they actually have. This list of who is blessed is in some sense a profile of the lives of these committed ones, and Jesus is offering guidance to help them negotiate the crossing, the change, the transformation that will be asked of them, which involves, I think, not literal celebration of their poverty or grief, but surely an empathetic embrace of the lives they actually have. Now, the lives we actually have, 100 Blessings for Imperfect Days, is also the title of the new book by Kate Bowler and Jessica Ritchie, and possibly a Lenten book study opportunity for our church, as you may have seen in a recent church email. So you see what I did there to make that connection. At any rate, the subtitle of the book, 100 Blessings for Imperfect Days, really drew me in quickly as I was thinking about this sermon. I mean, blessings are certainly at the heart of the matter in our text today, though not just in this gospel lesson, but truly in all our lives, are they not? And besides, how could I not plug Melissa Vance, her invitation to a book study group? So whether you take part in a group study or not, I recommend both of these books for personal reflection on how these authors' words of blessing might indeed help us recognize, celebrate, and negotiate our own personal thresholds and crossings. Even the small, mundane, everyday moments when, for better or worse, some sort of change is happening to us or needs to happen, perhaps. Now, we've heard a little about blessing from John O'Donohue. What Kate Bowler says about blessing in her book's introduction is this: the act of blessing, she says, is the strange and vital work of noticing what is true about God and ourselves. And sometimes those truths are awful, she says. Like, blessed are those who mourn. I mean, scripturally, it's true, she writes. Jesus said it, but does any of that ring true? No. Or blessed are the poor, she asks, says again. Again, it doesn't feel true at all, but in the act of blessing the world as it is and as it should be, she writes, we are starting to reassemble what we know. Now, I believe that Jesus' long game is not, quote, always look on the bright side of life. Now, if some have cynical judgment about texts like this as promoting pie in the sky comfort or manipulative assurance, especially any you'll get your reward in heaven kind of interpretation of verse 12, I think this text is really a profound preface to an unfolding announcement that God has sent, one more time, a prophet to announce that the world is being turned upside down, a prophet who is going to usher in a new age of God's reign and is inviting those who are thus blessed to be key stakeholders in this new kingdom. I think this text is an invocation to a radical good news that we really can reframe, reimagine, and reinvent ourselves and our world in the image of God, as seen in Jesus, and that we will be blessed by that effort of reassembling what we know, to use Kate Bowler's phrase. And I think this may be right where we find ourselves as a church, as a congregation, reassembling what we know. So this morning, my focus is thinking out loud about our life together as the Prescott Congregational Church, United Church of Christ, and how we might recognize and celebrate how we are blessed, that we might indeed be encouraged and guided in our current season of change, of transition, of transformation, this time of crossing for us. Now, am I saying that we are blessed, that is, fortunate or happy? Indeed, those are other meanings of the Greek and Latin words for blessing. And indeed, I think how most of our culture understands the word blessing. Are we hashtag happy blessed to be in this season of disruptive change? Are we hashtag fortunate blessed not to have a settled pastor? Are we hashtag grateful blessed to have financial challenges without easy solutions? Nope. What I would say is that we find ourselves at a threshold of change, challenge, and opportunity. We find ourselves in a season in which we are crossing into a not yet fully known future. And there will surely be, and surely have been, challenges, disappointments, frustrations, failures, losses. But there will also be and have been gifts, moments of success, growth, satisfaction, even joy. So John O'Donohue would remind us that when we approach our thresholds with reverence and attention, blessing invokes and awakens every gift that the crossing has to offer. Are we not already seeing glimpses of that in the way we are moving forward in our shared life, trying to give it attention and with reverence, this place we find ourselves in at this moment? Indeed, we have been blessed by settled pastoral leadership in the past, but in this season, we are seeing meaningful new rhythms and patterns emerge to sustain us in our future. Familiar faces are finding fresh voices. Newer faces are joining us, newer voices. Gifts are being invoked and awakened as we are blessed. But to what end are we blessed? I think blessing is in our faith DNA. It was at the heart of the promises made to Abram and Sarai in Genesis 12, where we hear God say to them, I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you so that you will be a blessing. And in you, all the families of the earth shall be blessed, God says to them. And as descendants of Abraham and Sarah, are we not then called to be blessings? So in this time of crossing, of transformation, may we deepen what we know, that blessing is not just something we receive, but something we can give and something we can be to others, each of us. We are blessed to be a blessing. Now, our small church has been blessed and been a blessing to others, a blessing even now. We are blessed and we are blessing in our worship that continues to gather us and enrich us and empower us, not just in our church building, but here, also online, where there is plenty of room for growth, and not just in numbers, but in connection as we seek to grow deeper relationships near and far, yes. We are blessed and we are blessing, having the beautiful sacred space to gather to celebrate life-giving moments, grieve losses, share our brokenness and our joys, both great and small, to break bread together, to attend to each other's stories of the mundane and the magnificent, to trade hugs and handshakes. We're blessed and we are blessing through opportunities for faith development for all ages, Sunday school and nursery care, Bible and book studies. We are blessed and we are blessing by our ONA status, open and affirming, our visible sign of welcome and embrace for everyone. And with our generous support of organizations that share our mission of providing for the basic needs of others, seeking justice for all people. So GIFT, the food pantry, the home heating telethon, homeless services, Hope and Justice Project, Pride Rustic, UCC mission offerings, and others. We are blessed and we are blessing through those committed lay members and friends of our church who step up and make a difference in times of change and challenge. And especially in this time, we are blessed and we are blessing. Well, the sermon is nearly finished, finally, but our work is far from complete, and our blessings are far from exhausted, though some of us may be right now. So may we continue to give thanks for the many ways we are blessed as a church. May we learn even more and grow in the ways in which we bless others. May we acknowledge, may celebrate, be encouraged, and negotiate together the key crossings we are facing. May we bless, that is, may we surround each other with words and acts of kindness and grace to invoke, to call forth, and to awaken gifts and fresh commitments in one another. These gifts we need for such a time as this. And toward that end, I would leave you with these words of blessing from John O'Donohue, who says in his blessing, for the time of necessary decision. The mind of time is hard to read. We can never predict what it will bring, nor even from all that is already gone can we say what form it finally takes. For time gathers its moments secretly. Often we only know it's time to change when a force has built inside the heart that leaves us uneasy as we are. Perhaps the work we do has lost its soul, or the love where we once belonged calls nothing alive in us anymore. We drift through this gray, increasing nowhere, until we stand before a threshold we know we have to cross to come alive once more. May we have the courage to take the step into the unknown that beckons us. Trust that a richer life awaits us there, that we will lose nothing but what has already died. Feel the deeper knowing in us, sure of all that is about to be born beyond the pale frames where we stayed confined, not realizing how such vacant endurance was bleaching our souls. Thanks be to God. May God be with you this day. Amen.